I also request the French Ambassador, His Excellency Dr. Marc Briti, to please join on the stage. I request Chairperson Department of Microbiology, Quaid Azam University, Dr. Ani Frayal, to join on the stage. Oh, sorry. I also request our special guest, Professor Dr. Manzoor Sain Subro Saab. Sir, please join us on the stage. I'm sorry. I request audience to please be seated. Welcome to Quaid Azam University in this fine morning. Let us start our proceeding with few.
أحلك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي إن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر.
Along with the policy conference, we do hope this conference will unite the nation for our very noble cause, vision, leadership skills, and strong execution to take this institution to the new heights. Let us
without innovation. And this is precisely since I took over as a Vice Chancellor of this great university. And we all know, sir, that the faculty in all universities, the HSC gave a policy which from few thousand into more than 10,000. Now, this is from this publication to innovation. This conference has been done in collaboration with UMT. I'm thankful to Dr. Bessie. So this is a start, sir. We cannot make for the faculty to be promoted as a professor is 15 publications. And they published, and those parameters could be innovation. But I would also admit, sir, that social science, people in science, sir, they have it. But we need to institutionalize that PCSCR has to make a collaboration with responsibility here in this market. We have NERs. So when the SATA is an organization, sir, which is the Triple Helix model. This university is beyond doubt the #1 university in the country, and we have the best faculty available. We just need to provide policy in the HSC where we inbuilt the innovation thing, that this is a wonderful forum, and with your presence, the presence of and I'm sure that together we'll be able to develop a strategy where we'll be able to change the face of this country by these new ideas. Thank you very much.
The scientists and the students interact with each other across the 4 provinces of Pakistan. The visionary man behind IRP, let us welcome Mr. Abid Hussain Sharwani Sahab and CEO IRP, President SATA. Please welcome.
जनाब शफकत महमूद साहब, ऑनरेबल फेडरल मिनिस्टर, जनाब प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर मोहम्मद अली, वाइस चांसलर क्वाइद यूनिवर्सिटी इस्लामाबाद, रिफा यूनिवर्सिटी, डॉक्टर मोहम्मद इमरान, ladies and gentlemen, assalamu alaikum and very good morning. I congratulate all of you for joining this very novel potential. Its prosperity and global ranking largely depends on the scientific and technological prowess of the nation. Let me share facts with you. Pakistan spends 2.5 billion USD on R&D, which amount to 0.29% of GDP, and has an export of around $22 billion. India spends 66.5 billion USD on R&D, which amounts to 0.85% of GDP and has an export of around $300 billion. Malaysia spends $10.6 billion on R&D, which amounts to 1.30% of GDP and has an export of around $188 billion. Turkey spends $15 billion on R&D, which amounts to 1.01% of GDP and has an export of around $157 billion. US spends $511 billion on R&D, which amounts to 2.74% of GDP and has an export of around $1,576 billion. France spends $60 billion on R&D, which amounts to 2.25% of GDP and has an export of around $55.18 billion USD. China spends $451 billion on R&D, which amounts to 2.11% of its GDP and has an export of around $2,157 billion. Muslim countries, on average, invest 0.5% of their GDP on research and development programs. The Muslim world produces only 6% of the global academic publication, 1.6% of the world's patents, and shares 2.5% of the global research expenditures. Honorable guests and policymakers, ignoring science and technology and expecting for economic growth and export are almost near to impossible in today's knowledge-driven world. The scientists and engineers of Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission and A.Q. Khan Labs did considerable original scientific research and applied most sophisticated engineering skill in establishing the nuclear infrastructure. This shows that if Pakistan scientists and engineers receive quality education or provided conducive environment, they can perform as well as their counterparts abroad and contribute to national building. In China, majority of the students opt for science and engineering subjects and return to serve their country. This is how China has been building its human resources to compete and excel in the world. In the early 1950s, South Korea's per capita income was about the same as that of Pakistan. Now it is nearly 6 times higher, and South Korea is a ranking member of G20 countries. With flagship products in the field of electronics, automobiles, and civil nuclear plants. In 2016, the Task Force on Science at the Universities of the Muslim World published a comprehensive report regarding the status of science and technology and higher education in Islamic countries. The report presents alarming facts from the Muslim world. Only 3 scientists from Organization of Islamic Countries, namely Dr. Abdul Salam from Pakistan in physics 1979, Professor Ahmad Zivail from Egypt, chemistry 1999, and Aziz Sanzier from Turkey, chemistry 2015, received Nobel Prizes in their respective fields. We have now around 200 good universities, 15,000 plus PhDs, quite a number of labs and independent science and technology institutions. We have a large number of progressive industries that bring technologies from foreign countries. What we missed is a responsive system to connect both and drive them for joint knowledge economy. This policy conference is meant to invite the attention of key stakeholders to this basic enabling system managed through science and technology policies. Science and technology is largely a byproduct of education ministry along with training. Higher education growth is largely influenced by effective science and technology development. We request Honorable Minister to own science and technology domain and influence its development, like having a technical expert, science and technology advisor, and having subject experts, science and technology secretary. In the advanced world, there are minimum of 12 funding programs in the country which help scientists to innovations and convert research into local solutions. We have an excellent technology development fund at HAC program, which is helping a lot of researchers to develop prototypes and solve real problems. The next similar program by Pakistan Science Foundation has been approved by all the competent authorities, but this program is facing bureaucratic hurdle for the last 1 year. We request the Honorable Minister to raise voice for this program, as it is highly needed for the university researchers to develop prototypes and real solutions based on their research. The most important is the representation of academic people in policy initiatives of the government. We do hope that government will make education ministry as the most dynamic and interactive forum for the government, academia and industries interactions. I am thankful to the Vice Chancellor of Quaid University, Dr. Muhammad Ali, is my old friend at Punjab University, who is a very dynamic leader. We do hope that Quaid Azam University will touch new highest of glories under his dynamic leadership. Institute of Research Promotion would like to serve ORIC for Quaid Azam University for commercialization of faculty research. We are thankful to the Embassy of France and Parc France Alumni Network for support of this conference. We are also thankful to the Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, Mehran University, Riphah International University, University of Management Technology ORIC team, Economic Cooperation Organization Science Foundation, Gem and Jewelry Association, Technology Times and other partners. I am specifically thankful to Microbiology Department faculty, students, head of departments, deans for hosting this annual policy conference here. If we want Pakistan to join the ranks of the development modern world, then we must ensure that the government accord the highest priority to science and technology. And it is our wish we should make Pakistan strong and innovative. Thank you very much. Pakistan Zindabad.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate the Riphah University. Respectable Vice Chancellor, Azam University, Dr. Somro, Sherwani Sahib, faculty members, colleagues. It's a great honor for me to be here this morning and share with you very briefly within a given time frame a few points. Riphah has been involved in policy development for Pakistan, and in water policy we played an active role for quite some time. Ultimately, we were among those who helped in drafting also with very positive suggestions on science technology policy. And I'm sure with the help of scholars here, we'll be able to formulate a comprehensive policy. There cannot be any doubt about the role of technology and science in development. And I think all universities of the world give priority to scientific development. But one thing that we often disregard or forget is, it's not just matter of funding, it's not just matter of technology availability, it's not just matter of certain targets, but I think we have to consider, while making policy, is science technology really helping in social development? And therefore, its comprehensiveness alone can provide success. We have examples from the living
world scenario where people are highly advanced in technology and highly poor in their human relations and ethical issues. Unless we develop a policy which synergizes our ethical values, it will not bring prosperity. Social development is not just confined to technology, but we have to think about values of the country, expression of the people, and only then we can come up with a change. I would also request that scholars who are here may try to present by their own research conduct an example which creates passion in their students. You may have funding, you may have equipment. If you have no passion, it's useless. Unfortunately, in past few years, we have done remarkable achievement in terms of quantity. We sent out thousands of scholars for PhD. They came back and helped us. But we have not been able to create passion. That's only possible when social aspect of research.
Many countries, the ministries of science and technology and education are together because there is a very strong link. And considering the time shortage, let me go to the activity that we have demonstrated. Honorable Minister, I worked as Chairman Pakistan Science Foundation for a number of years, and that was the time when we, with Abid Sherwani and IRP, actually signed MOU to bring this public-private sector together and all stakeholders to sit together, talk, discuss, and find way out. And we started the Invention to Innovation Summit from the University of Punjab, and now it is organized in all Pakistan. There we started this, what we call the inquiry-based science education at schools. And over the last 3 years, with the Higher Education Commission, we said you cannot separate school education from higher education. And the immediate reaction from HEC was that, well, our domain is higher education and schools is not our domain. Now, the latest education policy, I believe, says that the school teachers, all school teachers must be university graduates. And if they have to be university graduates, that's the domain of Higher Education Commission, because university degrees, courses is higher education domain. So, starting from 2017, together with our French colleague, the Alumni Foundation, and I'm so grateful to the Embassy of France, the present ambassador and the previous at least 4 or 5 ambassadors that I worked with. They supported us. We had French experts, we had higher education experts, we had school teachers, we had students, we had industry and the policy makers all together at HEC, and we showed, we brought international people and demonstrated how it is all linked together. And the title of the forum was, the last forum was, the quality education at schools, a must for quality higher education and economic development. And sir, all those developed world, particularly the 4 Asian tigers, they have all demonstrated that economic development is directly linked with science and technology, but with innovation, not just higher education. I am so grateful, Dr. Muhammad Ali, you mentioned that these criteria need to be changed for the promotion and incentives. And it's not only universities, sir. The Pakistan Academy of Sciences, the civil awards and all that, the criteria remains the same. So people like Abid Sherwani and myself who try to promote innovation and bring about impact in the society cannot be taken any consideration, because obviously they would not publish in the international journals, because that is a work that is important for us as a nation, not for USA or UK, because we have to put our own house in order. And as far as the innovation is concerned, I consider innovation at all levels. Leadership is required at all levels. It is organizational innovation. It is really thinking beyond the routine and addressing the issues that we have at our hand. The Economic Cooperation Organization Science Foundation, or ECO Science Foundation for short, Mr. Minister, it is the intergovernmental organization of 10 countries of ECO, and the promotion of science and technology, including the harmonization of STI policies within the 10 countries, is our domain. And one of our flagship projects, together with the French colleagues, and inter-academy partnership, which is a global network of 130 plus national academies of sciences. We promote this inquiry-based science education at the schools, and across the country there are a number of schools and institutions that work with us. We try to bring industry together because they also need STEM educated, skilled workforce, because in industry, if we need innovation, we need to have those skilled human resource. And I assure you that ECO Science Foundation is there to help all the government institutions together, taking the advantage of Honorable Minister's presence. Sir, Science and Technology Ministry does not have a minister, and almost all the organizations do not have heads. And I request you, sir, to please, help this ministry, and so many people and the laboratories, as Dr. Mohammed Ali has mentioned, they all need to be linked with the university. But if the leadership is not there, it's very hard to, come by. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Shafkat Mahmoud, Federal Minister for Education, Professional Training, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ali, Vice Chancellor, Quaid Azam University, Dr. Anis Ahmed, Vice Chancellor, Riphah International University, Mr. Abid Shervani, CEO RRP, Professor Dr. Manzoor Somo, President of ECOSF, Dr. Muhammad Imran, President PFAN, organizer of the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you. It's a great honor for me to be invited by one of the most famous universities in Pakistan and in the region for the opening of this very important conference. Education and research, education and innovation, technology are, of course, priorities worldwide and in Pakistan. I'd like to quote famous Greek philosopher you might have heard of, Aristotle. In the very beginning of his book, Metaphysics, he wrote many books, and Metaphysics is the book that came after the physics, because he wrote about physics. He said, human beings have a natural appetite for knowledge. And I think this is exactly what higher education and research are catering for. Of course, it caters for this aim, but there is more, because it's not only an individual appetite that has to be satisfied, it's also a need for the society and for the country in which you're living. So it's both an individual and collective duty. All countries that have succeeded in economy and development have heavily invested in education and research. This is exactly what you have been saying during your speech. So therefore, I welcome the policy of the government of Pakistan to prioritize education, research, and innovation. Of course, I have to say a few words about France. This is my duty. France is one of the most research-intensive and attractive nations in the world. French scientists have been awarded 64 Nobel Prizes and 13 field medals. As you know, well, if you can hear me, I will keep going without electricity. So the field medals are the equivalent of the Nobel Prize in mathematics, and one of the latest field medalists is Cédric Villani, a French mathematician who is now an MP, and he's helping our president creating a new policy to promote the teaching of mathematics, not only in higher education, but also in basic education. And as you have said, everything starts at the bottom, which is primary education. We are investing 2.2% of our GDP in research and development programs. Our National Center for Scientific Research is one of the top research institutes in the world. And one very important thing is that now we have something called Station F. Station F in Paris is the largest startup incubator in the world, and if you visit France, I really invite you to have a look at this beautiful building. It's an old railway station turned into an incubator. Of course, France is a key partner to Pakistan in the field of education and research. I'm happy to see in this auditorium a number of alumni from French universities and, of course, the leader of the PFAN network. France is the fourth most popular choice for international students and non-English speaking countries. We have roughly 300,000 foreign students in France. We have welcomed in France more than 700 higher education commission scholars over the past 10 years, and we are now having the same number of Pakistani students in France. Of course, PAC France Alumni Network is playing a leading role on this, connecting the embassy with universities, universities with students, but also connecting, and this is what you said again, university students with the industry. The corporate world is very important, and it's important because it gives job opportunities to those who have graduated to universities, but it helps them. For instance, our French company, major oil company Total, is providing scholarships for students all over the world in the field of engineering, and in Pakistan, this is what we are going to do as well, getting money from Total to train engineers, but also doctors. I just want also to mention that we have several programs that encourage and support higher education and research. One of them is LAMAP that you have just mentioned, Dr. Somro. It's a very important program, but we also have a research program called Peridot. Peridot is a program whereby we try to have a team in Pakistan and a team in France being associated on a common research program, and then this is supported both by HEC and by the French embassy. So what is our goal? Our goal is to welcome more Pakistani students in France next year to promote higher education, but also research, joint research. We are opening a Campus France unit, so this is the body that is helping us worldwide to attract foreign students in France. So we are going to open an office of Campus France in Karachi, in the Alliance Française of Karachi, and hopefully in the coming years we'll do the same here in Islamabad and also in Lahore. We'll organize the 4th edition of the Pakistan-France Higher Education Week. This will be this year, this will be in April, and we expect more than 25 French universities to come here. We are also launching a master's scholarship program funded by the Embassy of France in Pakistan for September 2019 with a special focus on social sciences, because there's also innovation in social sciences, and social sciences helps you understanding what innovation is all about. I don't want to bother you anymore with my speech, but what I want to say is that I'm grateful for Quaid, Azam, and all those who have participated in launching this Building Innovative Pakistan. I wish good luck to all the participants in this very important conference, and thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. Will be graced and honored as a man of knowledge, not as a civil servant. We do hope that education reform will be co-developed and not imposed, sir. Sir, we also have hope that our new phase of education ministry under your visionary leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, let us warmly welcome Honorable Chief Guest, Federal Minister for Education and Professional Training.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Professor Dr. Muhammad Ali, Vice Chancellor, Quaid Azam University, Dr. Mark Barity, Ambassador of France, Dr. Anis Ahmed, Mr. Abid Sherwani, Dr. Faryal Tahir, Dr. Muhammad Imran, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, students, this is the first time that I have come to Quaid Azam University after assuming this office, and it's a great pleasure to be here. I also want to begin by congratulating Dr. Muhammad Ali on his appointment as the Vice Chancellor of Quaid Azam University. Already in a very short span of time, he has made a mark and made a beginning, which I have absolutely no doubt will take the university to greater heights. There is absolutely no doubt that Quaid Azam University is a premier university of Pakistan, and therefore it is so important that Quaid Azam University excels in research, excels in teaching methodologies, excels in innovation, excels in student performance, and on every criteria, Quaid Azam University has to retain its premier position, and I'm sure that will happen. Sometimes we go through difficult times. Every institution, even individuals, go through difficult times. Quaid Azam University, like other universities, has also gone through a difficult time. But I believe that this difficult time is over, and I think that a new journey has started, and this new journey is good for the university and good for Pakistan. As Dr. Muhammad Ali rightly said, we have an excellent faculty. Actually, we are a very talented people, even if I say so myself on behalf of all of us. Anywhere in the world where Pakistanis have gone, they have made a mark. We have helped to build the Middle East. Our people have gone into all fields and in all different areas have excelled. We just need the right environment. Zara nam ho to ye mitti bahut zarkhez hai. Mitti ko nam karne ki zarurat hai. And I think that is beginning to happen, not only in this university, but that is beginning to happen in Pakistan. And inshallah, under the leadership of Prime Minister Imran Khan, we are going to move forward as a nation. Inshallah. In the field of education, there is much to be done. Professor Dr. Muhammad Ali spoke about various criterions that we have to develop for faculty advancement. It is gratifying that we now have a large number of PhDs in the country. It is gratifying that our university, higher faculty in our universities are almost entirely comprised of PhD, people who have done PhD. And there is much research and publication going on. But I think what we have to do is to ensure quality. One of the challenges that we face in education generally is of quality. In our school education, we find that some of our students who go to class 5 have learning levels of class 2. If we don't improve our higher education standards, we would have people with degrees like BA, MA, MPhil, and in some rare cases even PhD, whose degrees would not justify their knowledge levels. So we have to improve the quality of teaching. We have to improve the quality of our degrees. Anybody who attains a bachelor's or a master's or a PhD should obviously be different and more talented and more capable than those who are not in that category. So that is a big challenge for education. And I think developing the right criteria for advancement of faculty is a challenge which the universities and the Higher Education Commission have to come up to. I will not arrogate to myself the knowledge that I can judge what is the best way for the faculty to move forward. But I'm sure a criteria can be developed, a criteria that includes not only research, but teaching and innovation, and perhaps linkages with other universities, with chambers of commerce, with other institutions outside the university. But I'm no judge for this. This is to be developed by professionals. All I would say as the Minister of Education is that we have to make our universities into centers of excellence. We have to improve the quality of our education, and we have to make sure that people in Pakistan who acquire degrees, it's not just a piece of paper, but it is also people of great knowledge and great ability. So we have to connect ability and knowledge with the piece of paper that we take as our diplomas and degrees. On innovation in education, let me tell you that this is so critical to the era that we are moving forward in. I have been focusing lately on school education, and it is heartening to see so many technical innovations coming up which will help us to bridge the gap between, capacity gap between perhaps rural and urban, between government and private education, and so on and so forth. We have now technology-driven models coming up where it is possible for a child in a rural area to have the same quality of teaching as in the best urban area. Because of technology, this has become possible. We have distance learning methods coming up whereas one teacher, one outstanding teacher can teach 5, 10, 15 classrooms at the same time, far away from where he or she is. So technology is going to change the face of education. I have no doubt in my mind. I have no doubt that as we move forward in 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years' time, the way we impart knowledge will be changing. The knowledge base is changing, but also the way we impart knowledge will change. Teachers will become facilitators. This whole lecture thing might change. Even now, technology is available where you can have a hologram come and make a speech. So if a hologram can make a speech, someday technology might reach a point where you press a button, a hologram comes up, gives a lecture, you press a button and the hologram disappears. I don't know. I'm just saying that technology is really moving forward, and we have to be a part of that technological revolution. We have to be a part of the scientific advancement. And that is why it is so important that the universities not only become centers of excellence, but become centers for technological innovation. And I think University of Management and Technology has arranged this conference, and I'm glad they have, because each university must become a center for innovation, must have incubators, incubation centers from where new ideas in technology emerge. The other day I went to an incubation center run by the Ministry of IT, and it was really an amazing experience where there were hundreds of young people working on different technologies and different innovations, and some related to education, some related to something else. So that's the way forward. So these kinds of conferences are very, very important. I hope out of this conference emerges a roadmap where we can connect science with state and society. We have S&T-led socio-economic development. All of these are very important criterion, and I hope that at the end of the day, this conference is able to come up with very strong suggestions and very practical suggestions on how we move forward. I am again very, very grateful for the opportunity to be here, and inshallah this will be the first of many visits to this great center of learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We are very hopeful from your kind leadership. Now, at the end, I would like to invite
or took their time from their busy schedule. Especially, I would like to thank our Honorable Federal Minister, Shafqat Saab. This shows his commitment and his commitment for not only education, but also innovation. Because one of the ways for a country to move forward is to have a knowledge-based economy. And I think so by this innovation policy, it will be possible to have a knowledge-based economy in Pakistan. I would like to thank Mr. Abid Sherwani, CEO, IRP, President SATA, DG UMT, because he was one of the motivation behind all this conference. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Manzoor Samro, President ECO-SF. He talked about the policy and the initial things which have been done, and I think so things are dynamic and things change with time. This is a high time, I could say large number of stakeholders present in this hall, and this policy can be polished and improved and made applicable, and I think so that it is a very exciting time for me that my department is hosting this this conference. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Anis Ahmed, Vice Chancellor, Riphah University, for taking out his time and giving us a few words of wisdom that policy also needs social change. It's not only about science and technology, because if you need innovation, you need to change minds, and that can be done by social impact. I would like to also thank His Excellency Ambassador France, Dr. Mark Berry, for taking out his time and showing his interest. We already been hearing a lot from the President, the commitment of Government of France, but today we saw that he was here and he talked about a number of projects where they are working with Government of Pakistan in the education sector. So I would like to thank all the audience and participants of this conference, and I hope that they will have a fruitful day ahead. And last and least, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Muhammad Ali. The reason I kept it at the last because he was, Dr. Imran was organizing this conference along with his team, but he was always at the back and he supported her throughout this event. Within a very short time of his joining, I can see very positive progress. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
This conference success. So I would like to invite Dr. Imran first to receive the shield. the man behind me. Then quickly, Dr. Naeem and Dr. Umar. Dr. Naeem and Dr. Umar from Azam University. Thank you. These are the people who put hard work in success. Thank you, Dr. Umar. Now, head of this team, Dr. Rani Riyad. Thank you, madam, for your very good leadership. Now I request the chief guest to present speeches to our guest, Dr. Mark Bharti, Ambassador of France to Pakistan. Dr. Mark Bharti. Then I request Dr. Anis Ahmed to receive the souvenir, Vice Chancellor, Riphah International University, sponsor of this conference and long-time collaborator. Thank you, Dr. Anis, for your leadership. Now I request Abid Sherwani Saab to receive the shield. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Muhammad Ali to receive the shield. Thank you, Dr. Saab, for your dynamic leadership. And one thing is very clear: if you have an idea and you want to go to the BC office and want it done, think it is approved. Because in the last exercise, I always thought the idea is approved. Initiating this idea, thank you, Dr. Saab, for your continued patronage. Now I request the Vice Chancellor to present the souvenir to our chief guest. Thank you, Mr. Shafkat Mahmood Saab, and your office will be accessible to everyone. Thank you very much, sir. Now we have a plan for the exit. I request all the guests to be seated, and I request the guests on the stage to move outside and have exit from this room, this door at the